Welcome to another edition of the Don't Argue. All thanks to the friendly team at Palmerbet. And Gids, you are looking magnificent, in particular because you've had the kids on your lonesome over the last kind of week or so, mate. How is life? You
Good
surviving
challenge,
okay, big fella?
mate. Easy work, Matty. Three girls, year
Careful.
six, year four, kindergarten. My missus, big watcher of the program too, so I better be careful, mate, what I say. But, mate, it's been a good challenge. It's been a nice bonding session with my three young daughters. But
Awesome.
we've we did end up at one of the local hospitals for some X-rays, mate, on Saturday afternoon.
Oh,
Thankfully,
no.
all clear. But yeah, that was a nice little scare, mate. Would have been good for the missus to come home with my middle daughter in plaster, but thankfully all clear. She's still a bit tender, but just a sprained wrist and not broken,
Wow.
thankfully.
Mate, unbelievable. And of course, your wife is doing the Kokoda Trail. What's the money sitting like at the moment for the Mark Hughes Foundation, mate?
Yeah, mate, over 350,000, Matty. So
That
20
is
ladies
massive.
from Newcastle and Sydney, and a few that are obviously tied pretty closely to brain cancer themselves and their family. So
Yep.
a huge effort. Over $350,000 raised. We just spoke to them just now. They've been off the grid, so no contact with their families up until now. So they've all got there pretty safely and survived. So a great story.
Brilliant.
Looking forward to hearing how the trek was, and obviously, mate, some of the photos that are coming through of the villages that they passed through and seeing some of the kids looked awesome. Looked awesome.
Unreal. What a great effort, mate. And 350,000 raised for such a great cause as well. So which is even better, mate. That's the icing on top, isn't it? Hey, listen,
For
what an
sure.
unbelievable round three in the NRL, mate. Seriously, it was topsy-turvy, wasn't all weekend. It ebbed and flowed, but well done to your Newcastle Knights, mate. Got the job done. Only by a couple of points against the Melbourne Storm, but it was the victory they needed, Gids.
For sure, man. I think there was a few teams under pressure coming into round three where you certainly don't want to be 0-3. Look, I still think it's a super long season. We see how many teams got off to a good start last year and then struggled through the middle period during Origin and even fizzled out at the end of the year. And on the flip side, we've seen the Newcastle Knights struggle big time for half a season until round 26, I think, sort of round 16, and went on a cracking run to host a home semi. So there's plenty of water to go under the bridge, mate, between now and even the Origin period. Then there's almost a mini season during the Origin period, and then there's another season that kicks off post Origin in the lead up to the semi. So I think it'll be a really tight year again. Obviously, Panthers and Broncos and the Roosters are looking pretty good this season too. So Melbourne will always be up there, but I think there's still plenty of footy to play, mate, between just this now and Origin period.
Mate, let's have a look at the good, the bad, and the ugly from first week. And the Tigers, they lit up Leichhardt Oval, of course, in front of a huge crowd. And they absolutely smashed the Sharks 32-6. I was way off the mark. First win for Benji Marshall as coach. They were up and about the Tigers. On the flip side, mate, gee whiz, the Sharks were disappointing. I know I don't want to probably touch on that. I want to touch on the good of the West Tigers because they've been through the ringer the last 3 or 4 seasons. And good for
Yep.
Benji, isn't it?
Oh, mate, great for the coaching staff and their fans. That's for sure. Their fans have been through some pretty tough times. So, I mean, maybe the spiritual home, mate, Leichhardt, brought them to life, and I think that ground certainly would resonate with the players, the coaching staff, and the fans. So, whether it's going to be, I don't think it has many places on the draw, unfortunately for that club.
Yeah.
But yeah, a huge turnaround, obviously, from the week before, and a lot of uncertainty around the club and Benji Marshall's coaching career. So it was nice to see him get a good result.
Brilliant.
Certainly, I was way off the mark, mate, too, and the Sharks may have been complacent, mate, going into that one.
Yeah, we're going to get to my bet later on, and it was all based around the Cronulla Sharks continuing on their merry way, but it wasn't to be. The bad things go to bad from bad to worse for the Bunnies. Of course, they're still winless, so they go to Norton 3. They got absolutely smacked 48-6 by the Roosters. Seriously, mate, there's some big question marks here at the moment. You called this early on, Gids, to be honest, and there's got to be some soul searching, I reckon, happening down there at the moment.
Well, mate, like you can see the journalists who are paid to write stories on this are just rubbing their hands together, and I don't know, mate. We spoke about, I think, before the season kicked off. Anytime there's off-field headlines about South Sydney, it's a distraction for the playing group. You know, you've got Cam Murray. I admire Cam Murray as a player and as a leader. Must be really tough as in his position as the captain of that club to continue to front up to those type of press conferences, mate, and hose things down. And you're talking about crisis talks. Like, it's only 3 games in, so.
I know.
Geez, I mean, yeah, I don't think I'll be writing them off yet. That's for sure. So, but again, off-field distractions, whether you like it or not, play a part.
Yeah, it's certainly not helping them in any way, shape, or form. And even the week before, like with the Latrell stuff and the interview, like just little things like that. They just need to just concentrate on the footy, don't they? And
mate, flying under the radar. There's a lot said for that. Just flying under the radar. Keeping your comments pretty straightforward. Dust off to teams who are scoring better tries and higher points and all those things. So I think there's a bit in that, in just doing your job, getting your wins, flying under the radar a bit.
Couldn't agree more, mate. What about the ugly? Some superstars of the sport went down. Nathan Cleary for the Panthers, of course. Reece Walsh for the Broncos. That was a sickening clash. Mitch Moses for the Eels. All set to miss multiple weeks after last weekend's games. Who's this going to affect the most, do you reckon, Gids? And it's really turned the Palmerbet markets upside down, to be honest. When they flicked through the running sheet this afternoon, I looked at the odds in a couple of these games. I thought, hang on a minute, this is unbelievable. Just with, I suppose, the impact that one player has on these teams.
For sure. Maybe they're all the key players. It's like a quarterback for the NFL teams. All these 3 guys you've just mentioned, Nathan Cleary, Reece Walsh and Mitch Moses, they're the game players. They're the X factors for all their teams. They bring structure. They bring, flair, X factor, excitement, and confidence to their playing group. Yeah. And mate, I know that personally from when Joey used to be ruled out. Andrew Johns, one of the best players, the best player in the game. If he was ruled out, and especially if it was early in the week or from the previous week, what do you think the questions from the media were coming towards us during those press conferences the following week? It was, mate, your win percentage is at 30% or 20% without Andrew Johns. These are the last games that have been played without him. He's been beaten by 40 or 50 or 30.
Yeah.
So you know what the headlines are coming. You know what the market's doing from an odds point of view, and it gives the other team confidence. There's no complacency in whatever players or what team is named, but I'm telling you, when these type of players are ruled out, it gives the other team confidence. It's like rubbing their hands together, going, "Here's the opportunity to strike here and upset."
I'm going. It's going to be my selections, Gids. I'm kind of rubbing my hands together because I reckon you're getting better value for a couple of these teams on the weekend. All right, so we're going to get to that.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you're saying they can? Yep, they've got their inflated odds.
I reckon they're inflated odds without them, and I reckon this is when you want to pounce on the boys at Palmerbet and try and get a quid in the
brave, Matty. That's what I love about you.
Be brave, big fella. Be brave. Now, listen, talking about our tips last week, you had 5 from 8. Good effort, mate. Panthers, Warriors, Roosters, Cowboys, and Knights for you. You missed on the Titans, Sharks, and the Eagles. I missed on the Broncos, Titans. They've only scored 1 try for the year, Gids. One try.
That was a bad loss.
Not in the ugly. I've got no idea, but
it's a real touch-up. They've lost Big Tino too, mate, out of the game for the year. I think he's down his ACL, I'm pretty sure, but he's definitely gone for the year. He's a big blow. He's their captain, leader. Yep.
Yeah, not looking good.
They're under some pressure.
No, they certainly are. And obviously missed on the Sharks and the Sea Eagles as well. So, and that was a cracking game, the Manly game, wasn't it? That was an absolute...
Yeah, it was.
It was a real... I thought they were a little bit stiff with a couple of decisions. Didn't go their way. I don't want to go into it too much, but I just thought they were...
I seen one of them.
Yeah.
I seen one of them pulled back on halfway, the Jake Trbojevic obstruction one. That was ridiculous.
Yeah. Ridiculous. Like, what can you do? You kind of can't walk in front of a player or something, can you? You can't even be in the vicinity.
Well, mate, there was a decision when Tyson Frizzell got done for obstruction when I think it was round 1 against Canberra. Kalen Ponga made a great break off the play one. Tyson Frizzell got done from obstruction. And mate, I'm not sure if I was a player, I would say to the ref, mate, when I'm in that situation again, what do you want me to do? Because I can't just disappear. Yeah. There's blatant instructions.
Do you reckon opposition, players now
are
looking for contact? Yeah. They're looking for that contact.
For sure.
Yeah.
Which
Would you
You
have
know,
done a
if
Gids
you,
back in your
oh,
day?
no way, no way. Like, look, if you want to play the game that way in that spirit, then that's not my cup of tea. You know,
Yeah,
I would prefer to attempt the tackle and miss it, and then the ref pull it back.
yeah, yeah.
It's not my go. You know,
Well,
I
listen, I
think that
don't want to
goes for
fire
a
you
lot
up
of
2 weeks in a
players.
row, mate. You fired up last week when I
Yeah,
said you've kind of got a soft
nah,
spot for the Manly.
they're frustrating, mate. I hate the ones where the players just
I'm with you.
flop on the ground,
Yeah,
slight contact, flop on the ground, and then it goes to video ref, and it's obstruction. It's rubbish.
I'm
They're
with you,
never going
mate.
to get there.
I'm with you. And can I just say that the Gids' best bets last week, none from two. I haven't done
Terrible.
any better, mate. None from three. So you were Roosters, Rabbitohs, Roosters to win. We're a Hargraves anytime try scorer. So actually,
Mm.
you got one out of two there. Rooster. Oh, sorry, 1 to 12.
Nah,
They
they were
smashed
13
them.
plus.
No,
13
smashed them.
plus, yeah.
Sorry, I'll take that back. And then I went the Sharks 13 plus. Nico
Oh,
Hines, anytime try scorer. Katoa, anytime
Nico's
try
put
scorer.
Nico's put two out on the full, and they've been touched up by 13
Oh,
plus.
mate, I was pumping him up last week too, big Nico. I can put the moz on him, don't
He
worry. Righto,
might have watched,
kids.
mate.
Let's have a look at round four action. And I looked at this when the running sheet come through and the odds come up, and I thought, you got to be joking. You got to be kidding yourself here. So head to head, Roosters Panthers, Thursday night footy, Allianz Stadium. Roosters $1.65, Panthers at $2.20 at the line. The Roosters minus 2.5, $1.90. Panthers plus 2.5 at $1.90. Key talking points, all thanks to Palmer for the Roosters. They're flying high after smashing the Bunnies, but they could be without Luke Keary and Lindsay Collins. For the Panthers, Nathan
Mm.
Cleary gone for the next 4 weeks. Put on an absolute exhibition last week, let's be honest.
Yeah, he did.
And
Outstanding.
maybe the only team to do this. The Panthers have won their last 8 straight games against the Roosters. That's not a bad record. And I'm
Wow.
sticking fat, mate. I reckon that the Panthers get the job done. No Nathan Cleary. Last year he didn't play a couple of games, kids. It didn't bother the Panthers,
Yeah.
mate. They can cover him.
No, you're right, mate. History probably should repeat itself, given, I mean, Nathan Cleary was out with a hamstring injury when, Jack Cogger stepped in there for a long period of time when Nathan Cleary was out injured. And, mate, they've had a conveyor belt of players that seem to be able to fill the gap when their first pick players are out. So it's some juicy odds. There's no doubt about that. It's a nice little carrot that Palmer Bet boys have tossed up there, 220 outright head to head for the Panthers. But mate, I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the Roosters on this one at home, coming off the back of a huge win last week. I think they'll
The
have a real
Tars are up.
spring in their step. Yep. JWH's 300th game there last week. Great occasion and well deserved win for him in the way he's played the game. So I'm going to go Roosters head to head.
Righto, mate. Just happy to take the $1.65 there and put it in the bank, mate. It's as simple as that. I'm going the Panthers. I reckon 220. That's a luxury. It's going to be a ripping game to start the Easter weekend. Then we turn our attention to Good Friday, and it's the Rabbitohs taking on the Bulldogs. 4:05 at the Core Stadium in Christchurch. Head to head, the Rabbitohs $1.48. Bulldogs at $2.66 at the line. The Rabbits minus $6.5, $1.95. Bulldogs plus $6.5, $1.86. Key talking points here. For the Rabbitohs, the only way is up for the Bunnies. They remain winless, as we touched on before. They've played 3 of the best teams, though, to start the season. So Manly, Broncos, Roosters. So quality side so far. Bulldogs thumped the Titans at Belmore and will look for their first back-to-back win since round 3 last year. Not a good day for the Dogs. Buddies have won the 5 traditional Good Friday clashes against the Bulldogs. Are you sticking with the Bunnies here, kids? What are you thinking, mate? Or can the Canterbury Bulldogs cause a little bit of an upset here?
Well, look, they'll take plenty of confidence out of last week winning so convincingly against, it was against the Titans. They were pretty poor defensively. But look, a win like that is great for team morale. There's no doubt about that. They'll be cutting up some great video. The things they did well last week from an attacking point of view and probably enthusiasm and effort point of view, defensively, of course, as well. Look, if you look at teams on paper, like the Rabbitohs should do it, honestly. Come on. Home pitch, I've still got to lean towards the Rabbitohs. I thought they were poor last week, but I think morale will be down for sure. There's too much outside noise. There's too many headlines, and they've off to an average start to the year. Believe it or not, I'm still going to back them. I'm still going to back them.
I'm sticking
minus
with them
the
too,
start.
kids.
Yeah, minus the start, 6.5 start, $1.95.
Right, I'm sticking with the Rabbitohs as well, mate. Their season's got to turn around. I reckon just the fact they've played, I reckon, three of the better teams in the comp in the first three rounds.
Yeah,
Might be as bad as what as what we're probably thinking. So they
yeah.
need a kill and they need it quickly. Righto, Friday night footy, Suncorp Stadium. It's the Broncos taking on the Cowboys. Cowboys, well, they are undefeated head to head. Broncos 2.15. Cowboys $1.65 at the line. The Broncos plus 1.5, $2. Cowboys minus 1.5, $1.80. Key talking points. Reece Walsh is out, of course, as we touched on. But in a positive, they won both home and away games against the Cowboys last year. So that's a big tick. Cowboys, the only undefeated team left in 2024. So they have started the season really well. And a couple of those games they were challenged, but they come back in the second half. And the Cowboys looking for their first 4-0 start to a season since 2017, Gids. I reckon 2.15 for the Bronx is absolutely ridiculous. And if you pair up the Panthers on Thursday night, and you go into the Broncos, you're getting about $4.50, Gids.
No.
Nice little double.
I'm hearing you, mate. Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, I don't think the Cowboys have set the world on fire to start the year. 3 from 3 is a great start and deserve their wins, but I still don't think they've been one of the best teams or the form teams to kick the year off. I see, Adam Reynolds, Ezra Mann in the halves. I get that they're missing Reece Walsh. This is a tough one for me. I've originally circled the Cowboys.
You're swinging here, mate. You're swinging. The red pen comes out, big fella.
The red pen comes out. You've got me. Suncorp, Brisbane at home.
Mate.
I'm going to back the Bronx, mate. I like the odds. You've made a great point there. $2.15. Still a bloody good team on paper, that is.
I know.
And, yep.
I reckon whoever's put these odds up at Palmerbet, seriously, I don't know whether it's Kyle or Danny or one of those boys. I actually reckon it's a mistake. I reckon someone's hit the wrong button because seriously.
A bit of swoop, the Palmerbet punters.
They won't start. They won't be 2.15 by the time we get to Friday. There you go, Gids.
No.
I reckon they'll be $1.95. There you go. So we'll watch this space, but I'm all over the Bronx, and I am going to take the Panthers into them as well.
Nice one, mate.
Righto, let's move along. Dragons taking on the Manly Sea Eagles Saturday 5:30 at Wynn Stadium. Head-to-head Dragons 3.20. Manly Sea Eagles at $1.35 at the line. The Dragons plus 8.5, $1.89. Sea Eagles minus 8.5, $1.91. Key talking points for the Dragons. Another disappointing weekend. They were leading 18-4 at the 20-minute mark. Then they conceded 42 straight points against the Cowboys. It was an absolute demolition job. Sea Eagles lost in controversial circumstances to the Eels at Wollongong. They won, but they head to Wollongong where they won last year against the Big Red V. Okay, so there's a little bit of history there that they can hang their hat on. And they need a win at Wynn. The Dragons have lost 5 of their last 6 games at Wynn Stadium. Can they turn it around, Gids? Because I reckon they're coming up against a good side. I reckon Manly are the real deal.
Yeah.
And I reckon they're going to be pretty disappointed with last week's result.
Oh, for sure. I think the Eagles, well, they were competitive during that game. I think they lost by, 4 points? So they were there. It was an opportunity to win that game again. They put themselves in a great position, probably a little bit disappointed on the points scored against. But mate, Dragons have let in 60 plus points in 2 weeks. It's been really poor, especially, against Dolphins there 2 weeks ago. So defensively, again, Matt, we've spoken about how important strong defence is in, semi-final teams and certainly those top 4 teams. They're a long way off that at the moment, the Dragons. So I think it's a big turnaround, mate, for the Eagles this week, and I think they'll win pretty convincingly, 13 plus.
I like it, mate. We're going to come back to my best bet, but it does involve the Manly Sea Eagles. Matty's must-have this week, and I'm with you, mate. I think that the bet of the weekend, Manly, for mine to get the job done. Titans taking on the Dolphins Saturday 7:35 at Seabar Super Stadium. Head-to-head, the Titans at 2.18, Dolphins at $1.68. At the line, Titans plus 2.5, $1.82. Dolphins minus 7.5, $1.90. All thanks to Palmerbet. Key talking points. Seriously, the Titans would like to start 2024 again after losses to both the Dragons and the Dogs. Dolphins coming off the bye. So they've had an interesting start to the season. And they want to build on their great record against the Titans, who they beat twice last season. And not the stats you want. I touched on this earlier. 1 try scored for the Titans this year, Gids.
1 try. Wow.
1 try, mate. That is not a very, very good record to have.
No. There's not a lot of good attacking shape, mate, to be cut up there for the first 3 rounds and trying to highlight what the team's doing well. So, yeah, they're right off the pace, the Titans, that's for sure. Not Desi hasn't had the influence that he probably would have liked to have, mate, coming during the off-season, the pre-season to get it right. But I think the Dolphins are still playing with some confidence. They've had a great win there against the Dragons there a couple of weeks ago, by last week, and still got some speed. I like the speed in the outside backs, mate. So I'm definitely on the Dolphins here. I think they can win 13 plus.
Yeah, Dolphins for mine too, mate. I reckon it might be not 13 plus. It might be close enough, but I'm with you. I reckon the Dolphins haven't done anything wrong for mine, and they got some big boys in that outfit too. Let's move along to Sunday footy. Easter Sunday, of course. It's the Warriors taking on the Knights at Go Media Stadium. This is going to be big. 4:05 head-to-head. Warriors $1.45. Knights at $2.75. At the line, the Warriors minus $6.5, $1.91. Knights plus $6.5, $1.89. Key talking points for the Warriors. They got their first win last week against the Raiders, 18-10. It was a tough win. They needed it. The Knights opened their 2024 account with a nice victory over the Storm. And it's been a while. The Knights have not won a game in New Zealand since 2019, Gids. What are you doing? You're flying at low altitude, the boys, just to get over there and to suck the air in a bit better, or what are you doing differently?
Oh, mate, it could be a fly-in, fly-out job, this. Get in, get the job done. Ambush. Matty, ambush them.
Are you getting the job done, Gids? Are you sticking fat?
Well, I see they've Roger Tuivasa-Sheck is being moved to fullback, so they must have some reshuffle or injuries there, which he'll be dangerous. I think he's dangerous in open field. When he has played centre, I think he's restricted a little bit. So I think he'd be super excited to get the fullback. It's a great matchup, Kalen Ponga versus RTS, so that's certainly one to watch. Jack Collier had his first full game in halfback with Tyson Gamble there last week. I think Jack will be, really looking to secure that position for the rest of the year. It's all dependent on form, obviously. So it's going to be a tough one, mate. It's an opportunity for the Knights to continue on some momentum. I thought their first half last week was really impressive. Defensively, really strong. Little bit hairy there towards the back end of the game. I thought they were a bit loose defensively, but I still think a win under their belt will certainly give them some confidence. But, mate, they're dangerous. The Warriors over there are dangerous. I know they didn't win their first game against the Sharks, but they did knock us out of the competition, mate, last year's semi-final at Go Media Stadium. So I think they'll be up for this one, the Warriors. I'm going to lean towards the Knights, 1-12.
Surprise, mate.
Tell you what, head-to-head, mate, $2.75 for the Knights, head-to-head.
Yeah, nice price, mate. I can't go with you though, Gids. I'm sticking with the Warriors, mate. I don't mind what the Warriors are putting out.
They had a good year last year, there, mate.
Yeah, you're picking with the heart, mate, and that's all right. We let you have that each week, big fella. It's something that we're prepared to let you have. Righto, Sharks v Raiders, Sunday 6:15 at Shark Park. Head-to-head, Sharks $1.50. Raiders at $2.60. At the line, the Sharks minus $5.5, $1.90. Raiders plus $5.5, $1.90. Key talking points. Sharks, they came back to earth with an absolute thud. Big loss to the Tigers last week. Raiders let one slip against the Warriors last week after leading with 20 minutes to go. Their form's actually been all right, Canberra for mine. And loving the Shire, the Raiders have won 9 of their last 10 games against the Sharks. Gids, I reckon the Raiders at $2.60, same thing, ridiculous price. I was disappointed with the Sharks last week, mate. They absolutely capitulated. They were very ordinary, and I reckon Canberra should not be this price either. And just hearing that stat there, 9 of 10, the Raiders have won out of their last 10 games. That's huge against the Sharks.
Yeah, right. 9 of 10, they've won against the Sharks. That's a hell of a stat.
Massive
Again, mate,
stat.
I think, I mentioned that flying under the radar type mentality. And I think the Raiders are embracing that one. I mean, I did see I've seen some signage in the Newcastle Knights or the Canberra Raiders dressing room when they played the Newcastle Knights round 1, and it was fairly obvious around what their mentality was this year, and that was based around everyone else's opinion of where they thought the Raiders were going to finish this season. This is before round 1, it was a pretty blunt message that I can't repeat on air here.
Yeah.
But it gave me the impression of Ricky Stewart again, and that they don't care what everyone else thinks about them. Well, that they're predicting the Raiders to come last or second last or not make the semi. So I think they're embracing that type of mentality, and they'll probably do that again here. They'll be aware of that statistic again. It is just a stat, but if that influences the players' motivation and belief, then that can play a part. I'm going to go with the Sharks, though. I'm going to go with the Sharks. I think they've got to respond to that poor loss. You know, be a tough video session to watch back at Shark Park. I don't think they'll go inconsistent 2 weeks in a row.
I'm going with the Raiders, mate. I reckon their form's been rock solid. 260 is absolutely ridiculous because they were disappointing for mine, the Sharks, last week. And I'm just look, it wouldn't surprise me if they come out at home and have a good win. But I just reckon Raiders, good value, and why wouldn't you ever play with the Canberra team?
Well, Matty, who's the pressure on?
Oh, pressure's on the Sharks, I reckon.
Yeah,
the Raiders go out there, they've got nothing to lose, because
that's what I mean, mate. Yeah. It's a good mentality to have. We come in here, we come to Shark Park. No one's expecting us to win. No one expected us to, get off to a decent start of the year. So beautiful, mate. The pressure's all on them. They've come off a terrible loss against a game they were expected to win.
Yeah, absolutely smacked last week. Righto, Eels v Tigers, final game Monday, Easter Monday, Combank Stadium, head-to-head, Eels $1.46. The Tigers at $2.72, looking for back-to-back victories. At the line, the Eels -6.5, $1.90. Tigers +6.5 at $1.90. The key talking points, of course, the Eels, they lose Mitch Moses for up to 8 weeks. That is really, really sad for Mitch and the Parramatta Eels. For the Tigers, a massive win, of course, last weekend, their first of the season, first for Benji, and they're looking for back-to-back wins for the first time since round 10 last year. And anytime try scorer tip here from the team at Palmerbet, Eels winger Mike Asivo has scored 8 tries in 8 games against the Tigers. Can he do it again, Gids?
Well, Big Micah can, if he gets the ball anywhere from 10 metres out, he normally just steamrolls people. He can just hold the ball in one hand and finds a way to get it over the line. But mate, he's huge, he's athletic, and he's got some speed. So it would be a nice old bet just to keep that one up the sleeve. Big Micah anytime try scorer, that's for sure. I'm going to go with the Eels here. I don't think the Tigers have done enough over the last couple of years to just have the consistency week in, week out. But they may prove me wrong. I think the Eels have still got a good enough team to get this one done.
Yeah, I'm sticking with the Eels too, Gids. I reckon it'll be tighter than what people think, but I reckon the Eels will get the job done. Righto, Gids, let's give us your pick 8 for the weekend, mate, and who we decided on, and let's have a look at the odds.
Mate, do you want to punch it into your app there, Matty? Because I just had a little change, mate, live on air as we did.
You actually did, and that was my fault. Yes, so I apologise. Go for it. No,
I like it, mate. I like it. Hey, we'll live in the moment, mate.
That's it, mate.
So Roosters, head-to-head, yes. My pick 8, Roosters to win.
Yep.
Rabbitohs to win.
Yep.
Cowboys to win.
Broncos.
Broncos to win.
Come on.
Broncos to win. Eagles to win. Dolphins, Knights, the Sharks, and the Eels to wrap things up.
It's going to be nice.
What do we got there, mate?
$70.66.
70. Well, my original bet was paying $57.20, and that was with the Cowboys to win over the Broncos. So Broncos to win over the Cows gives me $70.
Adding a bit more value in there,
That's
mate.
A nice little bump.
Now, listen, this is the way I'm going, Gids. All right,
what do you got?
I'm going for the Panthers. Okay, I'm going for the Rabbits, Manly, Dolphins, New Zealand Warriors. I'm apologising there, mate. Canberra Raiders to defeat the Sharks, and Parramatta to win on Easter Monday.
This is going to be huge, sure.
No, 94.88. So it's not much difference to yours, mate. There you go.
All right.
I reckon. Has that got? Hang on. Yeah, that's good. He's got the Panthers in there. Yeah, love it, mate. That's where I'm going, big fella. So that is as simple as that. Download that Palmer Bet
couple-
app. You can have a bit of a play around like we are. We're playing around as we go on the hop here while we're recording the
Mate,
show.
it's that easy.
It's that
It's
easy.
that easy to navigate your way through it.
Now, what's the Gids get on, mate? We're due here. We need to fire up, big fella.
No, that was Paul last week. I think I was none from 2. And I haven't got one up, to be honest, in the first 3 rounds. So this week, I'm going to go for match of the round, Roosters versus Panthers. Anyway, I'm going to go with the Roosters 1-12. Anytime try scorers, Dom Young and Joseph Suali'i.
Love it, mate. What odds?
About $17.50. About $17.50, mate, that one.
Good price. Gids get on. And the back half of last year, the Gids get on was on fire. All right. So you do, once you kind of hit, get the afterburners on, things start to fire up. Okay. So I reckon you're over the top. I'm going St. George v Manly. I'm going Manly 13 plus. I said to you they were the bet of the weekend, Gids, at $1.35 head to head, 13 plus. Into Turbo anytime try scorer.
Tommy.
Olakatau. I hope I got that right.
Olakauatu?
Olakauatu. That's it.
Yes.
Olakauatu.
Yep.
You say it so well, Gids. You just got a bit of New Zealand in you or something, mate. There's something in you, big fella, because you just spit those names in like you wouldn't believe. So Olakauatu, Tommy Travojevic, the turbo, to score anytime try score of both those two into Manly 13 plus, right, to belt them to get the job done. That is a simple, straightforward little multi there, and that's going to get you 771. And I'm pretty confident that I'm going to get the job done there.
I like Big Ola, mate. He's a weapon. He's big. He's athletic. He offloads.
And you know what I like?
He's a man mountain.
The defence has been average from St. George. He just steamroll him. I reckon he's just gonna walk straight over the top of him. He could score a couple, to be honest, Gids. If you want to put two tries in there for him, he might even get a couple. Hey, listen, download the Palmer Bet app. Get involved. It's really simple. As we always say, gamble responsibly and think about what you're really gambling with. Gids, you have a wonderful Easter. I know the wife will be back in town. The kids will be pumped, mate. And you have an awesome weekend. I look forward to catching up next week, buddy.
Yeah, 100%, Matty. Thanks for hosting. Happy Easter run. Gamble responsibly. Have a great weekend. See ya.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.